Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Sunshine State. My name is Sonshine Wiley, and I am your host. I'm super glad to be back in front of you guys. The winter break was definitely much needed, and I appreciate the time of rest, the time of refueling, the time of refreshing, all that jazz. But I'm also very happy to be back. I want to talk to y'all today, like on some real stuff in a very vulnerable way. I've been vulnerable before, but I just wanted to kind of talk to y'all about some of the stuff that I've been facing recently and some of the stuff that's like at the top of my year. As you all know, we're in the new year, and in the new year, you're trying to do what you can to make sure that you are making better strides for this year than any year that may have come before it. So, I just want to kind of talk to you guys about some of the things that I'm doing personally to number one, make sure that I'm cool in 2024, but not just cool, but I'm actually getting better. Because this journey to wellness is not a short sprint. It is definitely a marathon, but it also has moments of celebration mixed in there because sometimes you just be winning. So let me read this real quick because I wrote something down and I thought that it would be really cool to share because, 2024 has already gone to a crazy start. So let me just jump in. So let's rewind. You know what I miss? I miss the days of regular TV with commercials. Yeah, I know it's still a thing, but not quite like it used to be. Like I'm not the biggest fan of the fact that I can watch a whole season of something at once. I mean, like I like it, but I don't. I will legit lose sleep to finish a season of something and then be frustrated for months until a new season is released. When it's released, I'm like, on pins and needles and can't wait until it happens. And then I start the cycle all over again. My patience is no longer being worked in those cases. There are no more there's no more balance in TV watching. I also miss music TV shows where you would see commercials, interviews, and announcements about the new music that was coming out. Now I can catch new music by chance. I like a lot of music and I might miss an album that I really like because I just don't know about it. And what I will say is that the reason why I miss those things is because there was a time where we actually savored or were actually present in the moment of what we did. Like we would catch our weekly show and sometimes even watch it as a family, which I don't even know if families really watch TV together that much. Movies, yes. TV, I don't know. But we would watch it as a family and then we would kind of move forward and, have a good time, maybe even sit down and eat dinner or have pizza and popcorn and all that good stuff. And, after our show was over, we would be like, okay, cool. This is the bookend of our night. It wasn't endless and countless hours of being engulfed in social media or being engulfed in watching YouTube channels or being engulfed in watching Twitch or whatever it is that you watch. But now you can easily lose yourself in hours and hours and hours of things that are not necessarily helping you to grow or helping you to improve. And that's what the Sunshine State is all about. This podcast is definitely all about people in pursuit of wellness, seeing the glass of their life as half full and overflowing and really trying their best to make sure that we do this journey together. We do life together. This is our community. You are our people, and we're all trying to make sure that we are continuously doing better for ourselves, with ourselves, and about ourselves. And then bringing people along with us. 2024 is already trying to steer us headfirst into the collective speeding train wreck. You got people like Diddy and all the foolishness that's going on there. You got the Cat Williams stuff that's going on. You got, everybody is trying to expose people left and right. It's like January is 3 weeks in. Chill out. Like we already got all the craziness happening. I think I saw something about Lil Nas X also trying to I guess, pull the curtains up on some people now. And then, of course, the Harvey Weinstein list has come out and people are running, especially in our government, running from what that list represents. And it's just like, you know what? We need to take a moment to hit pause because all of that is a lot. It's a lot. But take a pause and actually take a temperature and be like, okay, we basically kind of ran out of 2023 and ran right into 2024. And it wasn't like we took a moment to reset. It wasn't like we took a moment to try to collect ourselves or collect our thoughts or to reflect on things. Some of us may have, but the way the year and the media and everything is going, it's like we really had no time to pause and try to figure out, okay, so what is my next year gonna look like? What is my next phase of my life about to look like? Because as you all know, when you go into a new year, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to figure out how to make sure that you're doing good in the years coming. So today I want to talk about how things moving fast can cause us to be off kilter and when we need to move slow and how we can actually slow this ish down. Because it's all coming at us 50 million miles an hour and it's not going to stop. You have to choose to slow yourself down, to get what you need, to fill your cup, and to actually give yourself the opportunity to get a reset and a reboot so that you can start off the new year properly. So here's some of the things that I've been considering personally. Number one is moving slow is important to your self-care. And I know that moving slow isn't fun because we are definitely used to things coming at us like real quick, real fast, real immediate. And, being able to go viral in a day and have 16 million people looking at you because you put up this video and it went viral after 3 days and you're instantly known by people now. Or, it might be moving fast as far as like, getting your music out. Even the way the music is put out, it's not like you're waiting for an album to drop anymore. It's not really a whole lot of that. There is some still, but it's not a whole lot of that. It's people putting music out like 3 and 4 songs a month. And it's like, okay, so we got that song, then we got this song, then we got that person, then we got this person, we got that one. I really feel like all of that is taking its toll on us. And we need to understand that it's important for us to move slow. It's important for us to realize that we don't have to rush into or rush to or rush about everything that we're doing. Second thing that I've been considering is choosing not to engage in social media bot or gangster back and forth battles. Y'all already know that it is AI bots all in and through social media, making crazy comments and making crazy statements, and we fall into the trap every time. I'm gonna give you a little tip. If the account that is posting the crazy stuff has maybe a stock photo as a profile picture or no profile picture and 0 to 100 followers, more than likely it's a bot. More than likely it's fake and is set there to, incite more communication, incite more comments, and maybe incite some divisiveness, which causes more commenting and more communication and more engagement with the people in the post. So what I choose not to do is I choose not to engage with that because it's a waste of our mental energy. And we're worth more than proving any points to anybody online. These people don't matter. Keep your peace. Even if the person who's commenting isn't a bot, you do not know this person, and it does nothing for you to try to prove the point to this person that, oh, you're wrong because you think this way and I think that way. Some people are dead wrong, and you might even know those people. But you know what that is? That's an indication. You know what? Maybe this person and I are not at the same place, and maybe we should not be connected. And it's okay to remove yourself from certain people who you're connected to, especially if what they're doing is continuously causing strife and a lack of peace in your life. Because what are we looking for? We're looking for peace. We're looking for wellness. And, we got to get with the people who add to that. So the third thing that I've been considering is taking a real inventory of my circle. Like, who's growing with me? Who is helping me to grow? Who is starting to grow on their own? And who am I helping to grow? And also, the odd chance, who's unwilling to grow? Figure out what you can honestly manage and then change the things accordingly. If you have people who are still struggling to get to the point where they want to grow and that's something that you can balance and that's something that you have the grace to handle, then by all means do it. I know personally, I'm not in a season to surround myself with a whole lot of people who are not interested in growth right now, because that is what my life is all about right now. My life is literally about forward movement right now. My life is about trying to create circles of trust, create peace, create opportunities, and to thrive in every last one of those areas. And in the things that I am working with others to create, we all have the same mindset. We all want to be better than the day before. We all want to strive for doing everything that we can to make sure that we are growing, that we are remaining inspired, and that we are continuing to bring the people who are in our community with us, those who we actually know are supposed to be or assigned to our lives. And you got to know that. If there are people in your life that may not necessarily be assigned to your life, or they may not necessarily be a positive addition to your life, you have to be honest with yourself. I was actually talking to a friend of mine the other day, and in that conversation, it was more so about a work-related question, because the person had a work-related question. But they were more so talking to me about the fact that, they have challenges when it comes to building trust with people at work, because sometimes it feels like everybody is there to undercut everybody and not to actually build trust. Now, a portion of that is true, but with this specific person, that mentality was carrying over into their personal relationships, and it was causing them to, not be able to really connect with the people who were in their lives. And if you cannot actually connect with the people who are in your lives because you are carrying a mentality of your work home, then that's something that you got to figure out. And I told this person, I was like, we have to be honest with ourselves. What are the areas that we have to really, really be honest with ourselves and say, what are the areas that we lack in, or the areas that are causing us not to actually get to that next level? What is the one thing that is causing a barrier to your success? What is that one thing that's causing you to feel like, man, I've been in the same cycle and I've been stuck for a really long time. And every time I seem to find myself in this situation or in the midst of this moment, I keep doing the same thing, trying to fix it or trying to work my way out of it. I always have this specific thing that I do when I feel like I need to get out of a rut. And it's been said time and time again. I don't know if it's the actual literal definition of insanity, but I've been told that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. You can't expect positive results if all you keep putting in is the same mediocre work. You cannot expect yourself to be great and to grow and to blossom and to bloom in any area of your life if you're not actually willing to put in the effort or the work. It just doesn't work like that. It doesn't work where we can magically snap our fingers and things are in a better place for us. We actually have to take a moment, pay attention to ourselves, and take inventory and allow ourselves to be like, okay, that area I can grow by doing this. That area I can grow by doing that. And then actually act on those things. I am very guilty of going to therapy and realizing that what my poor little therapist, I love her, but I pray for her sometimes because I'm a lot. But I have to be honest with myself and say that she gives me all this good information, and I might work on these exercises one or two times. And then in the moment where I really need it, I lose it because I'm so in the moment that I have forgotten all the tools that I'm supposed to be preparing myself with. And I don't know about nobody else, but it sucks knowing that you have tools and being so worked up about something that you can't even figure out how to calm yourself down enough to use the tools. And that's why it's important to practice those tools even the more. It's important to practice those tools before the moment of anxiety or depression or whatever is coming up. Because when you get in that moment, It's hard to remember the cute little pages that were sent to you or the beautiful little breathing treatments, breathing exercises that you have. It's hard to remember all of that. Most of that flies out the window. But that's why it's important to slow down, take a real inventory on the things that you need to work on and practice them before those moments come. Just like with a singer, if you're learning a song, you're trying to learn it. First of all, for me, I don't know about nobody else, but the first thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to learn the melody. I'm trying to learn how everything goes. And of course, along the way, I'm learning some of the words as well, but the words are not number one for me. It's the melody. And then second, I'm learning the words. And again, that's reinforcing the melody. So after I've learned the melody, then I move on to learning the words, and then I start to really dig into the ad libs, figure out which ad libs. First of all, learn the ad libs as is, and then figure out how I can branch out and make it for me, but in all of that, that is multiple times of me practicing a certain thing so that when I get into the moment where I have to perform and nervousness sets in, I will be so prepared that the nervousness kind of takes a back seat. And some instances I've practiced well enough to where that works. And then other instances, because I was not fully prepared, I crashed and burned. And that's how it goes when we are practicing for our wellness. If we are not fully prepared in those instances, it's easier to crash and burn. And so just make sure that we are being honest with ourselves and that we are doing what we can to take care of ourselves and allow ourselves to have that happiness and that peace that's already on its way. So the next thing I want to say, which kind of is in conjunction with inventorying your circle, is to nurture the great relationships that you have. What we oftentimes do is we take for granted that we have these great relationships with people and that we don't actually want to, or we don't necessarily pour into those relationships as much as we could pour into them. Like we often get caught up in the weeds of those relationships that might not necessarily be good for us or the ones that we are struggling with. And so we kind of miss out or we kind of overlook the ones that are the great relationships. And so I definitely feel that it is important to nurture the great relationships that we have. And when we are nurturing those relationships, it gives us the ability to kind of get more. So have you ever heard, I know a lot of people talk about manifestation, law of attraction, and things like that, but I'm going to bring it to you from the Bible because the Bible is the first place that I heard it, the principle of sowing and reaping. And then there's also a verse that talks about, like, as a man thinketh in his mind, so is he. A lot of the things that you constantly think about or that you practice or that you rehearse are the things that you focus on, put your attention on, are the things that you'll see more of. So if you're putting more attention on nurturing the great relationships, more of the great relationships will come to you. More of the relationships that you have will blossom and bloom because of how that relationship, that great relationship, has been nurtured. So it's important to nurture the things that you want so that you can get more of it. And it seems like something that's like mystical and magical and things like that, but it's really not. It's really you shifting your attention and your focus to something that was already there so that you can recognize it, so you can see it, and so that you can receive more of what is already there and hopefully develop more of it. Because the moment you focus more on those things, the more you begin to kind of unlock the keys on how you can develop it more. So definitely nurture the great relationships. The next thing is, I know I've said it a lot, but definitely spend some time in nature. Not only is it good to take a little walk, but the fresh air can literally have health benefits that will mentally and physically be beneficial to you. And you can have the ability to be in nature by yourself, to where you can pray, scream, cry, laugh, talk. Whatever you want to do, you have the ability to do that by yourself, but then you can also do it in a group of like-minded or those great relationship type people. You can do all of those things and, those things can develop, again, your personal and inner peace, because this is all about slowing ourselves down and getting ourselves out of the weeds of life and actually getting ourselves into the beautiful parts of life, into the parts of life that make us feel fulfilled, into the parts of life that make us feel whole and at peace. Yes, it's important to be very dedicated to the things that you want to do as far as your career. It's very important to be dedicated to like your business exploits and things like that. But if you are not okay internally, those things in the business, they're going to be all right, but they will be exceptional if you're actually in a better place. If you're good, your business can actually has the ability to grow leaps and bounds beyond if you're just all right. So think about that. That is actually a very good business strategy as well, making sure that you are well. It's a lot of these Fortune 500 businesses out here that I have either worked with or I have consulted with or I have talked with employees who work with. And they say that, it's really huge in their culture for wellness, for employees to be well, for them to either have the EAP programs, which is the employee assistance program, where they have like therapists, or they have counseling, or they have the gyms, or they have, things that are geared towards your physical and mental and emotional wellness. If the companies recognize that that's important to their bottom line, then obviously, of course, we don't have to follow everything that companies do, but they've started to figure out something that a lot of other people have already been doing. And it's something that we have to really pay attention to because it's super valuable. If you are not okay, you are not going to be your most efficient self. You're just not. And the last thing that I will say is, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, turn off your electronics for a minimum of 1 day each month. Just 1 day. Me, I might actually do more, but a minimum of 1 day a month. Turn everything electronic off. An entire 24-hour period, turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. Okay? If you can manage more, do more. But at least 1 day, turn it off. Everyone needs at least 1 day out of each month to be off the grid. And no, I'm not saying go live in a van. I'm saying just disconnect from the electronics and things like that. If you want to read, if you want to exercise, if you want to pray, if you want to go fishing, if you want to play games with your family or your friends, little board games and things like that, not the Xbox, because that's an electronic too, but whatever. Just disconnect to refill your cup and regulate your mental clarity, because it's important for you to make sure that if you are taking moments by yourself or with your family or with loved ones where you are completely in tune and you are completely disconnected with the oversaturation of everything that's going on in the TV, the social media, the video games, the everything else, those things can bog us down in a way that can really cause us to start comparing ourselves, and they cause us to lose patience with ourselves. And if we are impatient with ourselves, then we are setting unrealistic goals for ourselves. If we're being unrealistic with the expectations that we have for ourselves, that can lead to more depression, more anxiety, and more of the things that are not necessarily pleasant and what we're looking for. I am a survivor of many different things. There are things that I've faced. There are things that I've seen. And if my mind is allowed the opportunity to be working at 50 miles a minute, then I'll get lost in, oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to do that. Oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. Oh, that hurt me. Oh, I'm mad about that. Oh my God, I'm frustrated. And the thoughts just kind of go everywhere. The thoughts kind of just explore, and then it becomes word vomit. And so the people who are closest to me bear the brunt of the fact that I have so many things that I have not dealt with, that I'm just now spewing everything that I feel on them. If I'm not actually taking time to write in my wellness journal, then I am, kind of spewing all the thoughts that maybe should be private on everybody else. It doesn't take it doesn't take that much time to open up a journal and be like, you know what? All right, what's my prompt for today? Okay, let me write this. Let me fill that out. Let me see what this is. Let me okay. What are three things I appreciate about myself? What are my three favorite moments of the day? It don't take nothing to slow down and actually just kind of take a peek into the things that are you. And now all this is wonderful and beautiful and helpful and things like that. But if your slowing down moment is literally sitting down and having you a glass of wine, y'all have you a glass of wine. If that's what it takes for you to sit down and have you a moment, have you a glass of wine. And if wine is not your thing, sit down and have you a glass of tea, a mug of tea, or some coffee, or some hot apple cider, whatever it is. If you just need to sit down for a moment and be like, then do that, take that moment and, give yourself what you need in the moment. So all of those things that I said are very beneficial, and they're all very helpful, but they mean nothing if we're not willing to practice them. They mean nothing if we're not willing to sit down and move forward with them. I remember a time in my life where I had gotten to the point where even my therapist was afraid for me. And in that moment where even my therapist was afraid for me, it took me deciding that I don't enjoy this feeling. Now, it wasn't easy as, I don't like the way this feels, I can move on. But that was the initiator of some real changes happening in my life. I was prescribed medication. I even tried to take medication, and the medication that I was prescribed, it was too strong. They didn't even test my blood or anything like that. The lady was just like, you look like you weigh about this much, so we're just going to give you that. And I'm not a huge medicine taker, so giving me strong meds the first time out is not necessarily good for me because that's not the way my body works. Most of what I put in my body is natural, other than wine. Help me, Jesus. But so when I was prescribed those medications and things like that, I started it off taking, the lowest dose or what I thought was a lower dose. And I found out in the long run, it was not, because my therapist was like, well, what did they prescribe you? So long story short, my therapist was in a different place than where I went to get the medication because I went to a different facility. And so with that facility, they, prescribed something that my therapist was like, nah, that's a little high, And so when I started taking it, I didn't feel like myself. I felt like somebody totally different. And it came to a point where it sounds crazy, but it came to a point where I was like having thoughts in my mind that I knew weren't mine. It was one thought that let me know, all right, this is not you. You got to figure this out. You need to get off this because you are not a use medication type of person anyway. But the thought was, I wonder if I can fly over this balcony into the field next door to my house. And I was like, wait, no. First of all, you can't fly. Let's be real about it. You cannot fly, sweetheart. So if you're having a moment about flying, that means there's something that's not you that is not okay. So I had to have that fixed. I had to have that addressed. But if I was not actually willing to work on the things that were for me, then I would have kept going on that. And I would have tried to ignore it as much as I can and try to suck it up and barrel through it and take it and this and that and this and that. And I would have messed up my life, and I would have messed up the people who are around me, because the people who are around me love me. And I did not realize that for a long time. And because there was so much trauma that I faced, it was hard to accept the love from other people. And it still makes me emotional because it's hard to accept love, but it's real. Love is real. Love is out there, and love is for us. And so I'm glad I had that moment. it still brings me to tears because I'm so thankful that the change that happened in my life happened exactly when it was supposed to. And I want to encourage somebody else out there. You might be going through something. You might be facing something, but just know you are here for a reason and you have a purpose. And if there is something that is supposed to happen for you, it will. Do not give up. Do not give up. Do not throw in the towel. You are worthy of so much more than the moments of sadness. You are worthy of so much more than the moments of despair. And I can tell you as a witness that it's possible to see the other side of those moments. Am I completely perfect and I have everything together? Absolutely not. But what I can tell you is that I'm so much better. I'm in such a better place, and I have the ability to move through life with manageable skills that I have learned through therapy, through reading on my own, through researching, and through going on this journey to the Sunshine State, through doing my journaling, through making sure I'm paying attention to my body. All of that has helped me to get to the place where I'm like, okay, this is possible, and I am so much better. I'm in such a better place than I was before. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And I really want to urge us all to take a moment. And even if you have to rewind and just take certain pieces of this podcast for yourself and apply it to yourself, all of that is cool. But realize and understand that whatever it takes for you to work patience for yourself is what's needed for you to actually grow and to move forward in the things that you want to be and that you want to do. Because if I wasn't patient with myself, for a long time I wasn't. But if I wasn't patient with myself, I would not have had the ability, the resilience to keep going, even when I wasn't necessarily catching on quickly. So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. My name is Sonshine Wiley. I thank you guys so much for experiencing this moment of vulnerability with me. I told y'all I was going to be vulnerable today, and I don't necessarily like vulnerability, but I understand how important it is for helping me and in helping for everybody else who might be in the community with me, who may be dealing with things. So thank y'all so much again. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all the things that you can. Turn on the notification bell for when new episodes are being dropped. Subscribe to the newsletter. You can do that on the website, www.sunshinestate.com. And sunshine, as always, is spelled with an O. Again, that's www.sunshinestate.com. I got the journals still available, and I do have Well brand apparel, which is an accessory to the Sunshine State. It is, shirts, and it's all kind of cute things that are on there. And I'll, of course, include a link to the Shopify, because I just wanted to encourage people that not only do you have to write your wellness, not only do you have to speak about your wellness, but you can also wear your wellness. You can wear your well. So thank you guys so much. I'm super excited about everything that 2024 has to bring. And I hope that you are leaving inspired and encouraged and uplifted, because I definitely am. Again, I'm grateful and I'm thankful and I'm blessed. So thank y'all so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye, y'all.
Don't be afraid of the crowd, laughing loud and feeling free. Never noticed till you there was more. They can see you really. So stand out, stand out, stand out. You're here, you're free, absolutely where you need to be. So stand out, stand out, stand out.
Welcome to the Sunshine State, a space for health, healing, and wellness.